today I'm at ARC interviewing Collectif Nemesis. Can you tell me a little bit about your organisation?
So we are a French organization of women, and we are created for two ideas. The first is our generation is victim about sexual harassment by migrants, and the other idea is today feminist is left-wing activists. In fact, it's not feminists. They are not here for women. They are here only for left-wing political party, and it's a big problem because today, for example, a lot of women are victims by migrants, and feminists don't speak about that. So we decided to create an association, a feminist association, who denounce violence by migrants, by Islam, and to create perhaps a better world.
And what's the political situation like in France when it comes to sexual violence against women?
Today in France, the political situation a bit changed because we had a big influence in 5 years of activism, and we know we had an impact on elections. We put insecurity one of the main subjects, and it wasn't the past years. So the actual government is not very interested in these questions, but since the Minister Retailleau arrived, it a bit changed, and we are we can speak about it easier. It's more easier to speak about it, but it's true that, for example, Emmanuel Macron, the president, don't care a lot about these questions, and we try to be the voice of these women, and we know we have an impact with all the actions we do. We do a lot of happening to show to people the true statistics, the true percentage of harassment in the public transport. It's a huge problem in France, also in Paris, but in all the other cities.
Mm-hmm. And what are the statistics in France suggesting when it comes to immigrants and sexual assault?
For example, we have a big problem with OQTF. OQTF is the obligation to leave the country, and between 2012 and 2033, I think, more than 1 million of OQTF hasn't been respected. Mm-hmm. And OQTF are responsible out of a lot of sexual harassment and problem in France.
Mm-hmm. In Britain, we have a similar situation with our government ignoring grooming gangs. So recently, they rejected a national inquiry into the rape of young English girls all across the country. Is grooming gangs also a problem in France of groups of groups of South Asian men preying on young women?
We have groups of guys who rape girls, but it's not as the grooming gangs. We do not have the same immigration. You have a lot of Pakistanis and of this group. We have a lot of Algerian, Moroccan, and a lot of Africa. And it's not exactly the same, but it's still a group of guys who are in a misery, sexual misery, and financial misery, and they don't have the same image of the woman. And we saw that in a lot of scale in France. Mm-hmm. They don't respect us. They saw us as meat.
There's a famous case in Iran, which until the 70s, women were able to dress like me and you and go out in the street. And the woman was wearing a hijab, but her fringe was showing through
she was murdered.
The headscarf, and she was murdered for it. Do you think that's a warning to the West?
Yes, of course, that's a warning for West, and and really interesting to treat was left wing in France, because left wing in France don't want to talk about this case because they defend the port of the veil in France,
and except is the difference in Iran, women are murdered and killed for putting it out. So now we are going to denounce this case, for example, with the Collectif Nemesis. We denounce Islamization of our country and the position of women in Islamic country too.
I think there are different explications. We have got the culture. Islam is not the best culture for the equality women men. We have got the social level. I think a lot of people who live in violence become violent too. A lot of children, their father fights them. These children, when they become adults, they fight their wife. You understand the link? So it's violent culture. It's violent groups. When when you are children and you see violence, you become violent. It's here's some link. And the third, I think, explications is the impact of the left wings. Left wings explain to migrants that they colonize them. We hate migrants. The left wings explain that. It's not true, but they explain that with to Africans people, to Maghrebi people. They oppose Europe against Africa and Maghreb and expect European people hate Maghrebics, Africans, they want to colonize them, they colonized them. And so when these people come in France, they hate French people. You understand the problem? It's a lot of reasons, a lot of explications, history. We have an historics with Africa. So I think it's not help the link between people.
And do you think this is an issue that France can overcome? Do you think there is hope?
Yes, I think the situation can become better. Yes, I think it's not finished. A lot of people say, go back France. France is finished. No, it's not finished. Great Britain is not finished. But it's important that young people understand that and fight. We haven't got the time, okay? So in Nemesis, we have our eyes are open, but a lot of young people don't see the reality, don't want to see the reality. So we are very important because we can help these people to see the reality.